Politics and social issues have been a part of comics for a long time, but the difference is they're handled in a much more clumsy way now. And I think this last week gave us some really great examples exactly of that. Let's take a look. Okay, so if you're watching this video, I'm going to ask one thing. Well, two things. First, a note and then an ask. So the note first is that this one, unlike a lot of the others, really rely on the visuals. So you may need to actually watch parts of this video. We're going to show some things on the screen. I'll describe it to you if you just want to listen, but watching will help. The ask is that please, before you run over there and hit that downvote or call me a bigot or any of the rest, I just hear me out. Hear out the thing. I'm not going to try and persuade you through charming language. Somebody said that once, like, "Oh, yeah, that Perch, he sounds all reasonable, but he's trying to trick you through charming language." I'm like, "Oh, thank you for saying I'm charming. That's well, thank you very much. That's very nice." But I'm not trying to trick you. I'm actually the least uh, was it the least dimensional person. I'm saying what's on my mind, and I'm letting you know. There's not like a hidden agenda. I have no time or energy for a hidden agenda. But here's the basic premise that I want to get to is that what's a little scary to me is that comics out this week, and we're going to look at two of them, have already gone all in on the whole border debate and you should go home and how should you welcome people in? Because this has been simmering for a while, but oh my God, do you realize that we are in for 2 more years minimum of these messages being inserted into comics? Because if they're in there so heavily now, these comics were made like 4 months ago. Yeah, we haven't even begun to see the material. So first off, let's look at Captain Marvel. This is the issue of Captain Marvel. And this issue, I have a lot of hope for. So again, I'm confusing everybody by this video. I have a lot of hope for this issue of Captain Marvel. And why? Because the big problem with Captain Marvel, what made her such a difficult character lately, is because they did this storyline of everyone loves Captain Marvel and she is the best in every possible way and a perfect hero. And I think that diminished what made Captain Marvel actually a good character. I think there's a lot about her. Her struggle was good for the character. So this issue kicks off a taking her down a peg, if you will. That her powers seem to be weakening. The sentiment on the country is not 100% positive all the time. And I think that is only good news for the stories we can get out of that character. Now, whether we get those stories or not, who knows? But it's putting the pieces back in a place that have a lot more promise than the perfect superhero can do no wrong. Now, if in 6 issues the powers are restored, she's back to being the best hero in the entire world and everything's perfect, well, then that's just a bad writer. Anyway, so in this issue, she's basically, it kicks off. She's her powers are struggling, and there's an attack on this. You can see in Spanish an attack, and she breaks it open, and there's a Kree person in there, but there's something weird going on. It doesn't seem right. And it's probably a trick of some sort, but she helps the Kree out of the water. The Kree is all beat up, so she's helping her out. This gets caught on film, and then we get the panels of talking heads here about, recently unearthed footage of Captain Marvel and her mother, dressed in a traditional Kree uniform, appears to further confirm the rumors that Davern's is in fact Kree. If Captain Marvel is an alien, is she even an American citizen? And it's a very Fox Newsy thing. And then we get this hilarious talking head, with the 2 white dudes mansplaining their way. They're even looking at each other. And you got this angry African American woman, and she's like, the white dude's like, "I think she's terrible. She's treason. Let's get her out of there. She's not all American. So, get rid of her. What's all the proof we need?" And the African American woman's like, "That's not proof. We have no idea what this even means. And even if she is half Kree, she's still half human. Should it even matter?" And the other white dude's like, "If it doesn't matter, why hide it? Why lie? Burn." He doesn't say burn, and then you got this 4th woman who's just kind of looking on like, where am I again? That's the other woman's just kind of confused. But it's like, this has been said to death. But I mean, if you really want to, why not? I mean, it's just you can close your eyes and you can describe the panel and you can tell, okay, we're going to have the 2 white dudes and they're both going to be old and white, and then we're going to have the African American woman. She's going to be the woman who's talking the voice of reason, and it just mix it up a little bit. You put a Ben Carson looking guy on conservative side, and I don't know. I just put Anderson Cooper here in the whatever you're going to do. I just it's just so by the numbers, and that's why I is it good writing? But whatever. But anyway, we go through this and we get a third one, and this is the point of it. Send her home, send her home. We got the people like getting ready to throw tomatoes at her, and they suddenly there's mobs. I don't know. They're not. This doesn't happen that we get these mobs of these send her home, and anyway, like I said, I think this is good news. But anyway, so we're telling this message, and then the issue leads off with Captain Marvel's going to work with Dr. Minerva, who's a villain, maybe to try something else or kind of get to the bottom of this mystery. Or maybe Captain Marvel most likely thinks Minerva is responsible for this thing and trying to turn her away from the planet, which is probably true. But what's curious is at the beginning of the issue, we get all this, clearly unfair jerks who are after Captain Marvel. And then by the end of the issue, we got Captain Marvel like, I'm going to collaborate with this villain. So it's like, well, you're doing what they were claiming you're going to do. It's just here's how it's playing out in the comic. But the more interesting one, this is the one that I really want to draw attention to because it is such a whiplash, and I don't think the writer understands. And this is a case where I think why I want to bring this to attention, why politics and social issues have been in comics for a long time, but they've been handled better than this, much better than this. And this is why I think it's gotten sloppy. So this is from Aquaman, and this is why am I spelling? Kelly Sue is doing this issue of Aquaman, and it's this is a big issue. This is issue 50, and this is a return of Aquaman after being kind of in exile. And so what's happened is Aquaman has returned, and Wonder Woman's kind of shown up to see him. And, lo and behold, outside old Aquaman's little house or his lighthouse and other things are a bunch of reporters and maybe some protesters. I don't know. And the reporters are kind of all over Wonder Woman, like, did Aquaman come through a legal point of entry? And just kind of a bunch of silliness. This is that insertion of politics into comics where it doesn't really make sense. So Wonder Woman's like, what? And then she turns around and she's like, Arthur is a private man whose gifts have meant a very public life. These two things can sometimes come into conflict. But I am certain he will not withhold from you anything you should know. As for the strangers, I come from a small community. We don't receive very many visitors, but every once in a while a wanderer does find our shores. When that happens, it is not our custom to begin with demands of who they are or where they come from. And she pauses. Maybe the thought bubble that's not here is she's remembering all the times that Steve Trevor and other things have come to the island, and the Amazons there are like, let's murder him or send him out on the ship. And she's like, no, he can't die. But they're like, just screw it, get him out of here. But whatever, sure. And then she goes, we begin with, how can we help? Which is very much, this is a social commentary on the current situation with the Mexican border and people coming in. It's like, we shouldn't demand, who they are, where they're from, with a bunch of questions, detention centers. We should say, how can we help? Okay. And by the way, people freeing a terrible country, maybe we should be thinking better how we can help. Well, fine. Never mind that this whole speech is completely the opposite of what actually has gone down during the history of Themyscira for, I don't know, the entire history of Wonder Woman. But, and here's the hilarious part. So 2 pages later, literally 2 pages later, Wonder Woman has shown up, gone into the house, there's Aquaman, and she's chatting away, talking about his tats. And then he's like, so you brought a village of ocean gods to Amnesty Bay. And Aquaman says, they were starving. Okay, so what should Wonder Woman say? Next panel. How can we help? Right? That's what she said 2 pages ago. How can we help? But Aquaman continues, they're already weakened. Before the brine killed the fish. I couldn't just leave them there. Okay, so here comes Wonder Woman, and she's going to say, oh, how can we help? Nope, she says, I understand. All right, good start. It's just, gods and mortals don't make great neighbors in my experience. Where are they now? Okay, so 2 pages ago, Wonder Woman, It is not our custom to begin with demands of who they are or where they came from. We begin with how can they help. 2 pages later, gods and mortals don't really make great neighbors, so maybe we should segregate them off. Maybe, where are they now? Where are these people? And and then she's asking kind of where they came from. I mean, literally, again, we have this page, then another page, then the second page. 2 pages later, Wonder Woman is acting in about 180 degrees opposite the behavior from 2 pages ago. Now, I'm being a little extreme. She's asking the legitimate questions. You can be like, I understand. Maybe the thing that's not said in the panel, it should have been said, is gods and mortals don't make great neighbors in my experience. So we're going to have to work extra hard to make sure that it's a good situation for everybody and we can integrate them well. Yeah, sure. But that's not what's said. And so, in fact, she continues to talk about, hey, what are you feeding them? And, hey, if they're ocean gods, why not Atlantis? Why not take them to Atlantis? And again, how can we help? Was her earlier comment. But now we're into, hey, maybe they, why America? Why not Atlantis? I mean, can Atlantis take these people? Like, what are we doing, bringing these stinking gods into our country for? And again, what Wonder Woman's saying is in many cases logical in both cases. You expect Wonder Woman to be, compassionate, sympathetic. So her speech to the people is not all wrong. It's just it doesn't fit. One page doesn't fit with the other. And that's what happens when you try and insert some social commentary of the Mexican border or the current Trump administration or the Obama administration or any other, stupid thing into comics. It doesn't fit well often. And the problem with current stories and why people complain about current politics and current social issues is you get things like this, where you get the character saying one thing and then 2 pages later doing the exact opposite thing, because when you shoehorn in somebody else's words into these characters, then eventually you got to catch back up to the story and have them do what they're supposed to do. And it's just a goofy situation. And most readers are bright enough to see this. They're like, well, what's going on? It's just all over the place. And so they don't like hearing these kind of social agendas come out in the comics where it defies what the character is actually doing. So, and my comment is this: I don't care what your social agenda is. Just keep at it. Just do it one way. Don't do it one way, one page, and 2 pages later do the opposite. And Captain Marvel's like, maybe mix it up a little bit. If you really want your social agenda to match, try not doing it in the most by the book numbers way possible. And then by the end of the issue, have the hero working with the villain. I understand it's like a wash, she's working with the villain, but it doesn't, you're not selling your message. Be on brand. Whatever your brand is, be on brand. Wonder Woman wants to let everybody in. Cool, let everybody in. I still think it's a bad idea to have a reference what goes on the island of the Amazons, where they would routinely straight up murder or suggest that the person be sent off into the ocean to die rather than come on their shores. And so maybe we never make demands about who they are. Like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's a lie. So that's my point. Anyway, I just do what you're going to do. Just do it the same way through the whole issue. Go all in. I'm telling these people, whatever your social agenda is, go further. Just stick to it. Because otherwise, this looks like just a clown show. And I'm not calling the whole issue a clown show. There are a lot of interesting things in this issue, both issues. Like I said, I think having Aquaman come out, this weird dynamic. There's another part of Aquaman where she's going, hey, why don't you call Mara? And Mara's like, well, why don't we? She'll call me. And then they talk to Mara, and Mara's like, he'll call me if he wants to call. Call him what? Does Verizon work down in Atlantis? Like, do they have are they going to pick up and text hey, how are you, bae? I don't, what? What are you talking about? It's like a romantic comedy. Feels like Kelly Sue kind of was watching Netflix and it's like, oh man, this Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts movie was so touching with the misunderstandings. I wonder. Let's put that into Aquaman and Mara. All right, this whole Aquaman Mara pregnancy. You screwed up, dude. Oh my God, I did. That just all right. Again, there are good things in this comic, though. There really and truly are. The Captain Marvel one, I think this is the right direction to go in with Captain Marvel, 100%. Now, how they execute it, who knows? But this is good. Let's promising. Why not? Hope springs eternal. Anyway, I hope you made it to the end of this. And again, please don't go in there like, oh, he's clearly a big SJW, or oh, he's clearly one of those alt right people. No, that hopefully you didn't get that out of what I just said. I don't know. Like I said, I'm charming you all with my charm. It's not my microphone quality, clearly, but it is my charm. I mean, sure, sure. Here we go. So, hey, hope you like this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did I nail it? Completely off base? Would love to know what you think. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch, and thank you for listening.